another interesting area, especially for India. What India was pushing for is digital public infrastructure. A DPI and a consensus on what's going to be the definition and why do we need digital public infrastructure, a common infrastructure in all G20 countries, that has also been arrived at.
Absolutely. So again, I think financial inclusion being a great agenda, great item to be ticked off the finance track. Financial inclusion is not much of a worry for the developed bloc already, right? They are financially inclusive, they have social security, they have bank accounts, they have practically everything they need to have their financial system running. I think the entire DPI stack and financial inclusion by way of DPI, which is the digital public infrastructure, the architecture that we refer to as India stack is absolutely relevant for developing economies. So when it comes to now the African Union being made part of the G20, you have a very, very clear-cut case here that financial inclusion using technology, using a technology stack as robust as the DPI that India has developed becomes a global benchmark. And India has actually taken this onus of creating a global framework around DPI. So it is not just the export of the existing India DPI, but it is actually going to be a global framework that India has volunteered to develop for the emerging economies, including those in Africa, where financial inclusion using technology and using the architecture that India has built becomes easy to replicate in different countries. There are certain challenges there as well. Some of those challenges, of course, include transmission of data, free flow of data, data protection, data privacy. And while India is taking the leadership role there, I think it is going to be equally imperative for India, under this global framework that it has volunteered to develop, to also take one step further and ensure that data protection and no misuse of data, even in those geographies where some version of the existing DPI will get implemented, those concerns need to be taken care of.
All right. So DPI, essentially, we break it down for consumption of general public. DPI include what, Kartik? It includes your UPI. It includes every public digital infrastructure that, you know, is freely made available to people living in a country, within the confines of the country, and allows them to operate digitally.
So, okay. So if we were to really break it down, DPI, so UPI is an application that runs on DPI.
Correct.
Right. What is this architecture? What is the foundation over which you have your
ONDC.
KYC happening?
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Not ONDC as much, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, but you open a bank account, right? Now, whenever you get somebody over to your house or you visit a branch and you do your biometrics or somebody takes your photograph, right? Your KYC is done within seconds.
Right.
How? Because there is this infrastructure available on which your biometric information, which is linked to your Aadhaar, rests. So there is a direct interface between the retail branch across every bank in India, across every brand of bank in India, connected to this infrastructure on which your KYC can happen in a matter of seconds.
Right.
Right.
So Aadhaar makes use of the digital public infrastructure.
Yes. So Aadhaar is one of the pillars of DPI, right? Which is your a universal digital identity, right? And a unique digital identity, right? Next is, let's say, your mobile numbers. Why did we have such a hullabaloo around connecting Aadhaar to mobile numbers, right? So one Aadhaar, one mobile number. It becomes a critical case of matching that, okay, I have verified that this is the person who has opened a bank account, has done KYC. Now, how do I get in touch with this person? If I were to send, an OTP to this number to verify his identity, there needs to be a linkage of a mobile number.
Right.
So mobile becomes a second layer here. And then, of course, all the bank accounts, the Jan Dhan, all the government schemes around direct beneficiary transfers, the Ayushman Bharat scheme, any welfare program that the government runs, for it to make sure that it finds its way to the right beneficiary, whether through financial inclusion, whether through DBT, whether through opening of bank accounts, or whether to even identify whether a person is alive or dead, rests on this large architecture called the DPI, the digital public infrastructure, which we refer to as the India stack.
Okay.
So all.
No, but
so
since I was
UPI
mentioning
becomes, yeah, so
ONDC,
UPI
isn't ONDC also, ONDC and the way it works, its operation is also derived from the digital public infrastructure that is available to
I mean,
people.
there could be some linkages, Shweta. I'm sorry, I don't really, I don't know if there's a.
Okay.
I mean, I'm unable to right now assimilate
That-
a direct,
right.
logical possibility of this connection. I'm sure there might be some connection that you're referring to, but UPI becomes critical here again.
Right.
So the transactions that Indians do using UPI, these are bank-to-bank transactions. These bank-to-bank transactions are happening real time, again using the layers and layers of data which rests on this India stack, on this DPI. So I scan a code and I send you money. Your bank account and my bank account get integrated to one another using that scan and pay technology. And that channel, that flow of money, not physical money, but information that money needs to be debited and money needs to be credited, happens through these layers of data which constitute this architecture called DPI.